Welcome, welcome. You are listening to the Whissel Way podcast. My name is Kyle Whissel, your host with Whissel Realty Group in San Diego. I am joined today by Mr. Keith Bryan, the snow machine himself. Every time I talk to this guy, he's out of town. He's doing some more skiing. He's up in the mountains, rocking his mock turtlenecks. I mean,
loving it. Hey, but honestly, when I got married 6 years ago, someone had said to me, a happy wife is a happy life. And my wife, she loves to snowboard. And so when she comes to me, she has a great job. And she's like, you know what? We're going skiing this weekend. I mean, how can I resist? Honestly, a beautiful wife wants to go skiing. My second favorite activity.
And the conditions this year are just insane. I mean, Northern California, they've got 500 plus inches of snow up there. They've got a base that's like 10 feet deep. It's stupid.
Let me tell you, we're up in Mammoth this weekend. We're driving around, and it's the first time in probably 10 years since I've been up there. You're driving down the main road, and the snow banks on the side of the road are literally like 15, 20, 25 feet in some spots. We were staying in a two-story condo on the second floor, and the snow was up over the windows. Our first floor was on the second floor. Incredible amount of snow up there.
I love it.
A lot of fun this year.
So speaking of snow, we should do our topic today. What we want to hit on is talking about doing events to stay in touch with our past clients.
Absolutely.
We should do like a snow day.
Oh my God, it's a great idea.
It could be fun.
We can kind of incorporate that with our Christmas Santa Claus photo day.
You could.
Santa and snow. We might even have a really good turnout.
You might.
Better turnout next year.
Yeah, so what we wanted to talk about on the show today is the importance of staying in contact with those clients and those people who have referred you business. One of the biggest mistakes that I see new realtors make when they get in this industry is that they're so focused on the next transaction and the next transaction and the next transaction. And what I've learned, now this is crazy to say, but half of my life now I have been in this industry, which I'm 37 years old, and I started this at 19. So I'm literally at 50% of my life has been spent as a realtor or in the real estate industry. The thing that I've learned over these years is the fact that no matter what, your top two sources of business are always going to be your database, which is encompassed of your past clients, your friends, your family, all of that, and referrals from those people. Right. Those are always going to be your top two lead sources. But the mistake that new realtors make is they're constantly listening to podcasts or watching YouTube videos or going to conferences, and they see somebody on stage. It's like, oh, well, I buy leads from Zillow, or I buy leads from Realtor.com, or I do this, or I do that. And then these new realtors go out there and chase all these things. And, every conference you go to, oh, well, here's the new hot one. Oh, here's the new hot one. And what they're doing is they're forgetting about their most important asset, which is their database. Or people, I've heard the term data bank, because that is literally where everything is at. You've got this gold mine sitting right there. And instead of calling these people that you already know, that you already have relationships with, you want to spend all of your time calling Disney or Mickey Mouse at Disneyland.com that just signed up on Zillow.
Yes.
Right? So talk a little bit about this, Keith.
One of the things I like about these client events that we're doing, and I've been with Whissel Realty now for 2 years, and in the beginning, I was talking about these quarterly events, and I would hear them. I'm like, hey, this is great. We're going to do an Easter event in April, and then we're going to do a movie night in October, and there was some other barbecue event. And it was, that first 6 months, I'd be waiting to the week before the event to call my database. Hey, I did my checklist. I called everybody. Here you go. And after a while, I started to realize, man, there's really gold in these client event opportunities for the opportunity to connect with people that are in my database, in my sphere of influence, and people that I'm working with, buyers and sellers, and inviting them out to these events. So when it was announced back in January that we were planning on doing our Whissel Realty annual Friends and Family Easter egg hunt in April, in January, I started reaching out to the people in my database. So in January, I sent out an email to everyone in my database. It gave me an opportunity and a reason to connect with people that are my family and friends. Then in February, I followed up with a phone call. And then in March, a text, and then another phone call. And so when you use these client events and you're looking for a reason to call people, because that drunk monkey sometimes that's sitting there on your shoulder saying, hey, you don't need to call them until the day before the event and invite them out, expecting that everyone's going to be like, yeah, I had nothing better to do than to come out on Saturday for an Easter egg hunt. you've missed 4 months of opportunity to connect with these people in your database and reaching out. So, and something that you brought up to us, Scott, and you've shared with us is it costs us nothing. Our sponsors, the brokerage, they're footing the bill for these client events, giving us opportunity. And it really doesn't matter if anyone actually shows up for this event, but you've given us an awesome, awesome reason to pick up the phone and to connect with our sphere of influence. And, it's just so important because, like you alluded to that data bank. Yesterday during our Mike Wall presentation, he was sharing with us a realtor from Ohio that 87% of our lead or of our business is going to come from those people that are the not now people. And the not now people, those are the people that are on the fence or not sure. Maybe they're 3 months, 6 months, 12 months out, maybe a few years, but you need to stay in regular contact with them. Like Tom Ferry said, and I heard years ago, and I love the acronym TOM, top of mind. And what better way to stay top of mind than to use an event like this? I mean, honestly, nobody likes to pick up the phone and call your mom. Hey, mom, it's me. Are you thinking about selling your house this month? Or calling up your brother. Well, I know you're saying you're thinking about buying a house. Are you ready to buy a house? Nobody feels comfortable with those conversations. But the conversations people feel comfortable with. Hey, mom, we have this event. Or hey, sister, you want to bring the kids out to the annual Easter egg hunt next month in April? Man, these are just wonderful, fun conversations that you get to have with people that are in your sphere that aren't salesy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, everybody, they want that, like I said, that conversation with Mickey Mouse at Disneyland. Like, that is a really tough conversation. Or you want to go out there and call expired listings. And, I mean, you're one of 100 realtors calling somebody. Like, these guys are pissed off. They're screaming at you. They're yelling at you, using profanity, telling you, the nastiest things. But yet you've got this database of, dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of people that are sitting right there, accessible at your fingertips. And when you make those calls, those are fun conversations. It's reconnecting with your past client and hey, how's it going? I know last time you guys bought the house, you guys were pregnant. How's everything going? How's the baby? How's life? Just how's those trips? How's all the ski trips that you've been doing? Like, those are fun conversations to have.
Absolutely.
It's not picking up the phone and just getting your butt kicked over and over and over again on calls like, expired phone calls, which can be some of the toughest calls to make. Now, yes, there's opportunity there. I don't want to knock expires like there's no opportunity there, but those are really tough phone calls.
Indeed, they are.
But when you call that past client that you haven't talked to in a year or 2 years and you get to reconnect with them and get caught up on life, I mean, that's a fun conversation. Like, that literally makes your job fun again.
Absolutely. And if you're making that effort to reach out and connect with your sphere of influence, your family and your friends and people from your past, hey, you know what? Invest a little bit and get yourself a good contact data management system, like a Contactually or KV Core. We use Boomtown. Get something so that you can start documenting, making little notes. Because I'll tell you what, it's super fun when you're plugging into your dialer and you're going down your list and you come across, Bob Smith's name and you read through the history of the past conversations you have. And while you're sitting there and the phone's ringing, you're like, last conversation, Bob said he bought a new car. He bought a Subaru Forester, a green one. As soon as he picks up the phone, it's not an awkward, hey, Bob, it's Keith over here. It's like, hey, Bob, last time we were talking, you bought that new Subaru Forester. How you liking it? Tell me about it. And you're having this great conversation, and you're just building this history database of your relationship with your client. So another great way to serve your client is to keep a list of notes of your conversations or your relationship over a period of time.
I love that you pointed that out, because the biggest mistake is not staying in touch with your database.
Yes.
The second biggest mistake is not utilizing and organizing your database. Like, it's so important. I mean, if you're a realtor, whether you're brand new or you've been in this for a long time, and this isn't just for realtors, this is any business, you've got to have a solid database and you've got to actually use it, right? One of the biggest questions that gets asked is, what's the best CRM? Customer relationship management,
I know.
There's a variety of different things. It's the one that you already have, right? There's no perfect one. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you got the free version, Zoho, that's free from Google, or you got something like Boomtown or Commissions Inc. that's, $1,000+ a month. You just got to use it.
That's right.
And so a lot of agents, when they're out there, they're making their phone calls, they're talking to people, they've sell somebody a house. I go look in their CRM, and sometimes the client's not even in the CRM, which is scary. How the hell did you even get them into escrow? But then there's no notes. So you don't know anything about it. You don't know, are they married? Did they have kids? Did they have pets or anything along those lines? You literally don't know anything about that. And so we've got to use our systems, our database. We got to put as much info in there as possible. Like when you finish up a phone call with somebody, whether it be a brand new lead or a client from 5 years ago, you got to put as much information in there as possible, because what happens over time is your database is going to grow and it's going to get bigger and bigger. I mean, our database, we got over 50,000 leads in our database. Do you think I'm going to remember all 50,000 of those people? Like,
No.
not a chance. I mean, even once you get over 20 people, it gets hard to remember all of them. So you got to make sure when you have a conversation with somebody, you've got to log the conversation. You got to put as many notes in there as possible. I mean, most of the time, if I finish a conversation with somebody, I'm having 1 to 2 paragraphs of notes minimum. Because now the next time I connect with that person, again, whether it's a lead or past client, now I've got something to go off of.
Absolutely.
Now I'm not just calling, hey, what's new? Like that's a tough conversation. So the moral of the story today is avoid the 2 biggest mistakes that realtors make. Number 1 is not staying in contact with your database. And your database includes your friends, your family, your clients, your past clients, your referral partners, all of that stuff. You've got to stay in touch with them. Those will feed you for the rest of your life, regardless if you generate a new lead or not. And number 2 is you've got to use your CRM or your database management system. You've got to use that. You've got to log your conversations in there. You've got to put notes from your conversations. The more you put into that CRM or that database, the more you're going to get out of it. So hopefully you guys got some value today. If you appreciated this content, you want to stay in contact, get more quality content like this, join us on Facebook. We've got a group on there, The Whissel Way. You can join thewhisselway.com, WHISSEL, thewhisselway.com. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Whissel Way podcast. We'll talk to you next week.